we have done the development part. We call the DLL and PDB file. Then we have to integrate this DLL or this library file, the CRM system. We have to configure it so that next time whenever the event happens, the plugin trigger. We create the plugin which is need to trigger on create of the account record. So we have to register that on the create of account event. So to register that, we can use first method is we can use the UI based tool with the name plugin registration tool, which comes as part of the SDK. One thing to note over here is if you are registering the plugin with Dynamics 365 version 9.0, you have to use the plugin registration tool also from the same SDK for it. Earlier, this was not the case. Earlier, backward and forward compatibility was available, but now if you use the plugin registration tool from the previous SDK, it will not work. There is a confusion. I know that there is a confusion. That's why we need to have both the SDKs keep ready. Whenever you are going for any DLL or any tools, just go for the latest version. But if you want to look back for any other files or any other sample code, use the older one. In future, we'll have a combined one available for the 9 version also. So using this plugin registration tool, which is a UI tool, you can register your DLLs. It could be plugin DLL or custom workflow activity DLL. So how to download the SDK for Dynamics 365 version 9.0? We have shown this in the previous session. So we have downloaded it as a NuGet package from PowerShell. So this is a link. I can just give you this link and from where we can refer it. So basically, you have to create one folder in your drive, and then you have to use PowerShell. And then you run one script. So the script is given online, and that script you have to run. So maybe I'll just show you once again. Search it. Normally we don't find this link. Download tools from NuGets. So I'll just send that on chat. You can utilize it. Now directly, normally when you search it on Google, we don't reach this easily. So what I basically need to do is I just need to create one folder in my local drive, and then I just have to copy this, the entire script given over here, copy this. Then I have to run it on PowerShell. One step at a time. I will create one folder first. So I'll just copy my folder somewhere in my directory. Here I create a folder, new folder with a name SDK version 9.0. So give the name of the folder without any spaces. If you need underscore, you have the folder created over here, SDK version, and I have created that multiple times. Location. Then you go to PowerShell, which is a tool available in your Windows. Run as admin. Click yes. So you're running the PowerShell. This is kind of an updated version of your DOS, MS-DOS. So here you can just type, go to your default. Yeah. So you go back to your root directory. Then you just go to this particular folder where you have this folder you created, and this is going to be used for downloading the files. So CD, that particular file I have created, just enter. Okay, I'm inside this folder now. After that, I have to run the script. So I'll go to this particular URL, copy the script, come back to my PowerShell, just right click. So it will be copied. So if everything is fine, if you have system admin privilege on your machine, etc., then you will start downloading it. So there are 4 folders it will create. So you can see that it is just installing the plugin registration tool NuGet first. Second, it will install metadata browser. There are 4 tools. So basically, look at the slide. These are the structure you are going to get. You get 4 folders: core tools, package deployment, plugin registration, and script and tools. So these 4 folders will get. Inside that, you will have DL as well as the tools. So it will install like this. It might take some time, depends upon your net speed and other security checking. For me, normally it won't take more than a minute or 2. So it is trying to create. So once it create, it will be like this. I'll show you. Here it will create one folder. I have done it before. I'll show you that this is the one. So you'll get a folder with the name tools. Inside that you get all these 4 folders. Package deployment, we'll get the package deployer tool inside this with the DLL. We'll just open the plugin registration tool, and then DLL you get here. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a plugin registration tool over here. So you download the DK very good. So when you are just trying to connect your plugin registration tool, this is the option you get. You might have this options change over here. So either you have to select on-premise if you are trying to connect the plugin registration tool with on-premise version, or for online you have to connect Office 365. You have to select your online region on which data center you have your CRM account created if you are using online. So I'll tell you an easy way to identify it. Second thing, you will just mention your username and password. Once you just enter your details, it will take a few seconds. Once it is connected, it will show you all the assemblies which has registered to the system like this. And then you have to register your assembly. So two things to note here. One is you have to register your plugin assembly, which is just created. Second thing is you have to register your plugin step. So plugin step is basically the registration of your event handler. So if you can see this picture, you'll mention on which event or message, which entity it is. Those details you have to mention. You have to mention the event, primary entity, secondary entity, filtering attribute. All this you have to mention. So basically you have to register two things. First one is the plugin assembly. Second thing is the plugin steps. So once you've done that, the registration is done. After that, you can test the plugin. So let's do that. So let me go to the plugin registration tool from the SDK. First of all, click on create new connection. Okay, if it is on-premise account, you have to mention that URL of your server, the port number, the authentication method like Active Directory or IFD. You just give your username and password, the domain you have to give. Here we are going to utilize on cloud. One more thing that Dynamics 365 version 9.0 is available only on cloud as of now. They will be releasing the on-premise version in a few months. So you have to connect Office 365 for the cloud version. You can check what this checkboxes. You have to select your region. So there's an easy way to do that. One way is just look at your account and look for this number. So if it is North America, from where you have created your account, then it will be India, it will be CRM 8. If it is UK, it will be CRM 5. If it is some other region, there we have multiple regions now. And if you don't know it, just mention don't know that option also over there. But it will take some time to connect. So if you know the exact location, earlier we have only 3 or 4. Now I don't remember the exact number for this. We have India region over here. Or you can just mention, for me it's North America. You just mention your complete credential, which is nothing but your email ID. You just mention your password, click login. So the tool has to be connected with your CRM server first. So it will take some time. Once it's connected, you can see all the existing assemblies are registered over here. So we have one with the name already here. So you can perform multiple option over here. You can register new assemblies, new step. We can view these DLLs in a different modes. I'll show that. You can debug the plugin. You can update the plugin. You can unregister the plugin. Unregister means just deleting the DLL from the server. Okay, so here we have. So this is what I have used last time. And then you have plugins are here. So I'm just going to unregister this here because we are using the same version. Unregistering, so it will delete everything from the server. So these are the assemblies we have here. For every assembly, you can see here, these are multiple assemblies. So if I just go to this one, so this is one plugin, this is another plugin, and for each plugin we'll have one or more steps. You can see assembly, plugin and step. So plugin is nothing but the event handler. So like that, for every assembly we might have multiple plugin, and one plugin we might have multiple steps. Like that we have. All right, so now let's register our assembly. I'll go to register new assembly. Here I have to select the location of the assembly. I have to mention the isolation mode and then the location where the assembly need to be stored. Isolation mode means if you are registering the assembly, if you want to register the assembly or DLL for cloud version, you have to mention isolation mode. So that mode gives more security and a few restrictions. So in online, we have only sandbox mode available. But if you are using on-premise, you can either go for sandbox or none option. Since it is cloud, I am already connected. I don't even get the none option. We have to register the isolation mode as sandbox. Then we have to mention the location where the assembly should be stored. I can register this database. I can register a disk, that is local drive, or I can mention GAC. GAC is a folder inside system 32, which is give a lot more security. So the recommended version is database. So I'm selecting that. So now I have to just select the location of my assembly. So I'll go to my folder. So keep all this folder open. So this is the location of my assembly. I select that. and this is my sample training plugin. As well as the DLL, so you can see there are two plugins inside here. We want to register all of them or one of it. So normally what you do in the production is for all the plugin we'll only have one DLL. So you might have 30 or 40 or 50 plugins within the same DLL. That is one way of looking at it. Or for each assembly or for each functionality, we can create one assembly within that one or more. That way also we can. So here I have one assembly with two plugins. So here is a button, register plugin assembly. So this tool has a resolution issue. Sometimes you might need to change the resolution of your system, then you do register it. Or you simply can just press tab and you can do it. Tab, tab, tab. You can see control is here, tab. One more time it will be on this here. For me I can see it, half I can see here. Click register assembly. Within a few seconds, the assembly and the plugin will be registered here. One assembly is registered, two plugins are registered. So I got my assembly registered. I can see that here. Yeah, so I got the assembly registered and the two plugins registered. So this is the first part of the registration. And the second part is you have to register the plugin step. Only then we'll tell the system on this event this plugin has to register. For that I have to select the plugin first and go to register new step. So in this case I have to trigger this plugin on creative account record. So I have to mention that. I have to mention the event, create entity name, I'll say account. Second entity, we don't have second entity over here. So here this plugin is triggering on creative account, but there are situations when you want to assign one account record to a user, and both users I need to deal with that. So in that case, I will have second entity as user. Here we don't have it, so I can just mention none. You have to mention filtering attribute. So this majorly comes when you are, updating. I need to mention on which field value changes the plugin need to be triggered. That I can mention over here. That is only needed when you are performing update operation. So here we are just creating, only for create we are doing now. So this is the event handler, that is the assembly name dot plugin name, and this is a step name, assembly name dot plugin name colon the event name creator account. So this gives everything, right? This gives the information. Now we have to select on which user's context we have to run this plugin. So by default, it will be on the context of calling user. In the code we have mentioned, the user ID when you are connecting to the CRM server. This is where it is. So this is equivalent to that, calling user. So that is also where we mentioned calling user. But I can run this plugin on the security context of any other user, on the admin or any other user. And that operation is known as impersonation. Then the execution order. We know that on creative account record, there may be multiple plugins are triggering, custom one or standard one, default plugin. So what is the order in which my plugin need to be executed? That is known as execution order. You can enter a description over here if you want. Then you have to select the plugin execution stage, pre-validation, post, or pre. I'm going to select post operation. Synchronous or asynchronous, you can select synchronous, and then where the plugin need to be deployed, on the server side or on the offline also. Server, it will always be a server. Definitely it has to run on the server side, right, on the database. I have one more option with the name offline. So Dynamics 365 can be accessed online as well as offline when you just registered, when you just configured Outlook to run in the offline mode. So if Outlook is configured to run in the offline mode and Dynamics 365 is registered to run along with Outlook, then CRM also can be run in offline mode. In such a situation, if you want to have a copy of your plugin in your local machine to run, I can mention that. That means on creative account record, if you want to trigger this plugin, even when internet is not connected, that is possible. So you have to mention that. Hope it is clear. Then I have two more tabs over here. One is secure configuration, other one is unsecured configuration. So here I just need to pass the XML text over here. So plugins are basically event handlers, as you already know now. But in certain situation, you might need to pass some parameters to this plugin. You can pass input parameters to this plugin. So we can pass XML content over here. We will see that maybe in the next session or after that. We'll see how we can pass input parameters to plugin. Once you're done with all this, just click register new step. we basically did two things. One is we register the assembly, then for the plugin we register the steps. So next time whenever anyone is creating an account record, this plugin will trigger after the creation of account record, and whatever be the code written inside that will trigger. So we done two things now. First one is develop the plugin from scratch. Second thing is we registered that was CRM system. Now we can test the plugin. To test the plugin, I have to create one new account record. So I'll just give a name, sample account, and a few details. When I create the account record, account is being created. So now once the record is being created, just after that, so now we can see that the plugin will be triggered by now. To test that, we have to check whether here an activity is created. You can see follow up. The task is being created. So this is the task created by the plugin. So from here you can see it. Regarding is set to sample account. This is a subject line. This is a deadline is set to 7 days from today. 7 days from today is set. Alright, so the plugin is triggered successfully. It just created a task for the account record and it set all the fields properly. Or else you can just check from one more place. These are the default places like you mentioned. Go to activities on the account. Go to all activities. There you can see the task created. So plugin triggered successfully. So this is what we did. So now if you want to make any changes to this plugin, you can make the changes, build it again. So I'll get the updated DLL, go to your plugin registration tool. So if you want to change that, you just select the assembly again, click update, then select the updated DLL. So that is what you have to do every time. So it's not like you have to unregister it, you can administer it, but unregistering is you don't do normally. What you always do is you just update it and do it. Because in a production environment, you will have one assembly where you'll have 30 or 40 plugins inside that. So if you are unregistering, that means all of these 40 plugins are not going to work till you have the new plugin updated. And there is one danger also with that. Every plugin will have plugin registration step, right? Or I mean that the plugin event. So when you delete one assembly, then you are updating and then re-registering it. This plugin step will not be preserved. They all will be deleted. So you have 30 plugin, imagine for a situation, and each of this plugin will be triggered on 2 or 3 events. You'll have more than 100 events, right? And then if you delete all this, then you have to set up all this event one after the other. And sometimes if you don't have the proper release note with you, then you are gone. So because of that reason, it's very, very important when you're going to make changes to a plugin, never ever unregister it. Instead, select the assembly, just click update and then select that updated one. That's how you have to do it. Unregistering is just for very small plugins or one or two assemblies where you know the plugin step, because plugin step will not be preserved after you unregister an assembly. That's about the plugin registration. And then one last thing I need to explain. So this plugin now trigger on create of account. I can create one more step over here. For example, if I have the code to trigger on update of account record, so I can say update account record none. Then I can say attributes because update operation. So by default it is selected all the attributes. So all the 160 plus attributes will change, the plugin will trigger. That's not a good practice. So if my plugin need to be triggered on change of account number, account name, account rating, I can select those fields. You can see them. The next time when anyone is changing any of these fields, the plugin will trigger on update of account. And rest of the details you can set as it is, free or post or whatever. So I got two tests. So normally we may have 5 or 6 or even more than that. So on all this event, the plugin trigger. Someday what happened is the same plugin code supposed to be triggered on multiple events on multiple entities. For example, on update of contact, if I want to trigger the same plugin, provided I have the code inside this, I can mention that on create of account, create of contact, delete of. But the plugin code supposed to, support that. Otherwise, if I just do this, even update, someday it might throw an error because on update of account, I don't have the code to manage that, so it will throw an exception. So my point over here is the same plugin can be triggered on a set of events. Every time you have to select the plugin, then you can add all this. But it is very important when you are triggering this. So if you want to update one plugin stuff, double click on it, change the message, change the entity, you can just simply do it. Or if you want to do that, you can simply remove it. Or you want to unregister the item, yes, if you want to do that. Or while you are doing the testing, etc. And if you someday what happens is on the same event multiple plugins are triggering, it might make some issues. So what you can do, you don't need to unregister it even. Once you disable it, you will be able to see it has a different icon. This is a disabled one. You can see this icon, and this is the enabled one. So like this, during the testing phase, you don't need to directly go out and unregister plugin, neither plugin step. Rather, you can disable the plugin step, and then you can update the plugins. Cool. So that's about plugin development and plugin registration.